Are there any parents in the room? Awesome. I see a few hands up. Parents, can I talk to you for a second? Do you ever wonder to yourself, I wonder how my child is going to be when they grow up? Will they be a functional member of society? Am I equipping my child with the tools and resources necessary in order to thrive in today's society? My name is Dr. Chanda Reynolds, and I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I work with adolescents and families in order to help to eradicate the stigma of mental health in the Black community by focusing on parent-child relationships. The reality is, brothers and sisters, that mental health diagnoses amongst Black children are increasing at an alarming rate. There are more symptoms of depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation amongst our children. There are even recent researchers that suggest that due to this exacerbation in the things and the stressors that our kids are experiencing is causing brain changes, neurological functioning changes. That means that our kids' brains are changing based on the stressors that they're experiencing. Our children are suffering. If our children are supposed to be our future, that means our community is going to suffer. But parents, if I have your attention just for a few more moments, I want to highlight something. I have great news for you. There's actually research out there that shows that having emotionally validating parents helps to protect children from experiencing things like anxiety and depression. What is emotional validation? I'm so glad y'all asked. Y'all came with questions today. I love it. Emotional validation is the ability to see and to understand, and a willingness to see the humanness in someone in their emotional expression. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with the things that they're expressing and experiencing. You're just saying, I see you and I understand what you're going through. But Dr. Chanda, isn't that intuitive? Don't we already do that to our children? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard, even if you haven't said it before, have you ever heard a parent say to a child, you better stop crying before I give you something to cry about? So nobody ever had that experience. That was just me. Oh, okay. I see okay, I got my amen corner. I'm going to talk on this side. So that's an example of emotional invalidation. And what we're communicating to our children is that we don't care about the emotions that they're expressing. Therefore, they should internalize and suppress them. If that didn't resonate with you, I have another example. Say your child walks up to you and says, Mom or Dad, I'm stressed out. I have so much going on at school. I have so much going on in my friend circle. I don't know what to do. And you reply back, you don't got a job. You don't have any bills to pay. What do you know about stress? You just communicated to your child that, again, they should suppress their emotions because Mom and Dad are not safe enough for me to come and express myself to them. And we know that children who internalize their emotions are more likely to experience an exacerbation of anxiety and depression. Brothers and sisters, our community is at risk of suffering. We have to keep in mind the way that we parent our children, the way that we respond to their emotions are not just going to impact them in the moment. But the research indicates that when the way we respond can impact them throughout adolescence and adulthood. There's large bodies of research that discusses how having emotionally validating parents who understand the emotions of their children and allow them to express them freely, these are the children who are protected from experiencing mental health diagnoses throughout their adolescence and adulthood. So I want to sit here and I want to urge you. I want to plead with you. I want to beg you. The next time your child comes up to you and says, Mom, Dad, I'm having a hard time with these emotions. I want you to do these 3 things. Number 1, we must validate. Again, validation doesn't mean that I have to always agree. But validation can simply mean I understand what you're going through. I understand why you're feeling this way. It must be hard experiencing these emotions. Validation is how we build trust with our children. Invalidating causes them to continue to suppress and internalize. Number two, help your child to walk through the different emotions that they are experiencing. This is called emotional labeling. All children and adolescents don't have the emotional vocabulary to articulate how exactly they're feeling. And it's the parent's job to help them do this. And number three, I want you to ask your child, how do you want me to show up for you in this moment? Do you want me to help you problem solve, or should I just listen? Give them the autonomy and the space to be able to express to you how they're feeling and for you to have the freedom to respond in the way that they need in that moment. The reality is the way our children, Black children especially, when they express intense emotion in society, in the world, they're labeled as being disobedient, defiant, being oppositional. We cannot allow these same systems of emotional oppression to be reinforced in our own homes.